To talk about the security matters, we have Ambassador Roy Oamien. Oh my goodness, I know I was going to have a problem with this name, but Ambassador Roy, it's good to have you join us in the studio. I will pronounce the name properly before I let you go. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
So, looking at the situation in the country, of course, the IGP has said he was declaring war against some of these bandits in Zamfara, in Katsina, Kaduna, and all of a sudden it seems there's been sporadic, attacks in all of these places. And one would also hear, on the other hand, where government has said, oh, we've technically defeated Boko Haram. The Army HQ also, says the same thing. And so we're wondering, if we're hearing these attacks and we're saying we have Boko Haram in check, what exactly is happening?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Let me first say that you have actually mentioned like 2 or 3 different types of threats. Okay, we have the threat of banditry, we have the threat of the terrorist groups, we also have that of kidnappers. Okay, and kidnapping and armed robbery, I would like to tie them together. Okay, because if you look at banditry, actually, I was telling someone, I said, we are forgetting that there are drug peddlers using those routes as their trade pattern. There is a lot of drugs business, drug peddling, drug trafficking going on in Nigeria, and most of those areas are poorly policed, because they are in the forest region, they are in the desert region, they are borderlines, and the borderlines are with countries that we have poor ties with, so some things goes unnoticed and unreported. And we look at the banditry to cover that area of what I suspect. Then we also have the kidnappers and the armed robbers. Now, from the kidnappers and the armed robbers, you'll be shocked to hear that we also have herdsmen crisis. And within the herdsmen crisis, we also have cattle rustlers. Cattle rustlers are like the criminal elements in the herdsmen business of cattle rearing. Okay, then we now have the terrorist groups. So if you want to begin to separate all of the platforms where all of these criminal elements operate, you now begin to see what concerns the immigration, what concerns the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and what concerns maybe people like the police departments of response, the mobile policemen, the SARS, and all cascading. Now you also look at the DSS too. So if you begin to look at this kind of purview, you will understand that cattle rustling, cattle rearing has its own side, banditry, drug peddling has its own side, kidnapping, armed robbery has its own side. So we are looking at, I'm very happy with the new IG of police. Even from the onset, I told someone, I said, watch this man's body language. You won't see him on TV just coming to give you political statements and all that. What you see are patterns of deployment that he has been doing. And I think he's building it to cover most of my concerns. What are my concerns? My concerns are that the police have not been given the capacity and the capability they desire. And they need to be able to curb petty crimes that usually grow to the magmas that we see. Also, the police also have not been given the opportunity to grow in the hierarchy by performance. You see politicians coming to unveil an IG, to unveil a DPO, everybody wants to dance to the tune of a political party in power, or that can influence promotion, that can also cover corruption. So it has destroyed most of the arms of the police.
Talking about prioritizing these, issues, you have compartmentalized them for us, which is clear. So if we have these issues happening mostly in the northern part of the country, and they're much more than what we're experiencing in this part of the country, why are those deployments? I mean, we hear SARS killing people every day, arresting people for carrying laptops in this part. If there is a real job for them to do, why are they not all being deployed to those areas to deal with the issue? If there is little manpower there, Why are we not prioritizing those areas? In terms of security, you use men to deal with those issues, especially if you don't have those same kind of problems in the south. I might be wrong, I'm not a security expert. You're the person who knows better. So why are we not extending more of these men to those places? And for the customs and immigrations, what are they doing? These are big questions. We also know that we have porous borders. Why are we not prioritizing these issues if we know that this is where they're emanating from? Apart from the IGP, that's all we hear.
Yeah, so you see now, I'm a retired military personnel. So sometimes when I want to talk about such issues, I like to be very neutral, okay? Because people may begin to have the wrong aversions. Now, if you look at the military itself, the military is supposed to contain armed insurgency, especially when they hold ground, especially when they claim space, especially when they try to hoist a flag or wear uniforms. That is the time you begin to really expect that. No, when we have the army coming, like what the Air Force just did now, to bomb selected places and all that, you should expect that elements of those groups will like to trickle back into the society. So we should expect organizations like the DSS and all that to up their game. They are doing that. If you go to the DSS now, you see a lot of people that have been arrested that are being profiled. If you go to the IDP camps, there are intelligence network placed there, because sometimes you will hear that one big commander in the Boko Haram terrorist group was caught in an IDP camp. You know, they are wiser now, because these guys come in there to re-indoctrinate these people that are already running away and get more followers from there. They also come there to sell their drugs, to raise money. They also come there to commit havoc. Sometimes we hear in those days where bombs blow up in IDP camps. So most of this responsibility that the army should do should end in the actual confrontation and combat. Then we should expect the immigration to put their games in order, because some of these people that come in here, if an immigration officer should talk to I and you, they should be able to know that, oh, this guy is from this dialect, this girl is from this dialect.
But I'm sorry, so, we don't have too much time, but you see, I have had contact with these people, and if you are in a public transportation, let's take for example, I'm going from Calabar to Port Harcourt. They just stop you and say, where are you from? Where are you from? I could claim to be from anywhere. How do you do? And so for me, I don't think they do such a great job. So maybe there has to be training, retraining. What do we need to do quickly before we go?
Part of the responsibility is on data. Nigeria don't have the appropriate databases, and we have not synchronized it. Your SIM card, your international driver's license, your international passport, your voter's card, your bank verification, BVN, everywhere that you took biometrics and every data you capture plus your birth certificate, supposed to have been synchronized to when you went to take housing, when you have your medical. So any immigration officer wants to find out, police want to find out, any government agency. So synchronization of data is one of the weakest points that we have to keep security in Nigeria.
I want to thank you very much, Ambassador Roy Okhidievbie. Did I get it right?
Yeah, Okhidievbie.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate it.